Welcome to the Netivot Shalom Shir. This shir is on Parsha Vayetze. So before I begin, I want to talk about how one manages to be a Jew in this world and to try to achieve some level of holiness, and at the same time to do what you have to do in this world. How do you meld the worldly things and the heavenly things, if you will? Does God want us to be monastic, to be like living in a monastery, to completely separate ourselves from this world? Or does God want us to be in this world and bring the things in this world to a higher level? What's the better way? What's the way we should, what's the correct way we should try to live as a Jew? And it's an interesting thought. So this Parsha starts with Yaakov, and Yaakov was leaving Eretz Yisrael to go and find a wife. He was no young man. I think he was 84 years old at this time. That was the first time he's setting out to find a wife and to earn a living and get involved in the day-to-day things of this world. And he's very concerned about that because up until now, he's lived not a material life, but a total life of Kedusha. He went to the yeshiva of Aver, and studied there for 14 years. The rest of the time he was with his holy family, with Yitzchak and Rivka. So he was totally kadosh. He was a person who was totally holy. And it says, I think one of the parshas previously, last week's parsha perhaps, told us. It says, Yaakov ish tam, Yoshev ba'olim. He was a simple person, pure person, who spent his time studying Torah, basically, is what that really means. So here he's about to go out into the world, and he's concerned. I've never had anything to do with worldly matters. How am I going to go out and do this? What's going to happen to all this level of Kedusha that I've tried to achieve and have achieved over these years? What's going to happen to that? Is that all going to be gone? How am I going to work on this? So that was his dilemma. And so the Torah portion starts, Vayetze Yaakov, Be'er-sheva, he left Beer-sheva, V'yelech Haran, he went to Haran. Vayifka b'makom, when he came to a place. Now, he didn't really want to stop at this place. He wanted to keep going. But somehow there was like a wall that was keeping him from going. The sun was setting. He said, okay, I'll go to sleep in this place. So he went to sleep. And what happens? He dreamt. He dreamt a dream, and a very interesting dream. And the Torah says, Vayachlom, he dreamt. V'hinei sulam mutzav arza, there was a ladder stretching from the ground, going all the way up to heaven. The Rosh Magiah Shumayim, the head of the top of the ladder was in heaven. And he says, V'hinei malache Elokim olim v'yordim bo. Angels of Hashem were going up and coming down. And then it says, V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav. Hashem was standing at the top of the ladder. That's the dream that he had. There's a lot of different Meforshim that talk about what this dream meant. What does it mean the angels are going up and going down? You think they'd be going down and then going up. What does that mean? So some say that's the angels that were protecting him in Eretz Yisrael were leaving. They're going up. And the ones that were going to come down and protect him in Chutz La'aretz were coming down. So that's the actual wording of the Torah portion. but then he wakes up from this dream, and he says, wow. He says, Vayomer Achein Yesh Hashem B'Makom Hazeh. Hashem is really in this place, V'anochi Lo Yadati, and I didn't know that. That's an interesting concept. This place where he's going is Chutz La'aretz, and I guess he didn't know that Hashem could be in Chutz La'aretz. So, with that preface, let's see what the Netivot Shalom does with this and how it applies to us today, and how we can balance the materiality of this world with the holiness that Hashem wants from us. So we'll start on Netivot Shalom Kuf Tzadi Beit, 192. Inyan HaSulam, which means the matter of the ladder, of the Sulam. It says, and he's repeating, the Netivot Shalom repeats what I just said. Vayachlom, he dreamt, V'hinei Sulam Mutzav Arza. There was a ladder, it was in the ground, the bottom was in the ground, V'roshu Magia Hashemayma, and the head of it was reaching the heavens. V'hinei Malachi Elokim Olim V'yordim Bo, the angels of God were going up and coming down. V'hinei Hashem Nitzav Alav, and Hashem was standing on top of it. So the Netivot Shalom now brings a midrash. He says, Isa b'midrash Tani Bar Kapora. There's a midrash in which Bar Kapora, one of the sages, said as follows. He says, what does this mean? What is he's taking apart this first sentence of the Torah, the first two sentences. He says, V'hinei Sulam. What does a Sulam mean? The ladder. Zeh HaKeves. The Kevesh was the ramp that led up to in the Beis Hamikdash, and the Mishkan, in the temple, it led up to the where the Mizbeach was, where the altar was. And then he goes on. He says, so that's what he says the Sulam is. It's the ramp leading up. And then he says Mutzav Arza, where it says it was planted in the earth. Zeh Mizbeach. This refers to the altar. Why? Because Mizbeach Adama Tasali. The commandment was to make an altar of ground, of dirt. You couldn't have any metal on the Mizbeach. V'roshu Magia Shemaima, the head of the ladder was going to the heavens. He says, Elo are karbonos. This referred to the sacrifices, the korbanos. Shorechin olav l'shemayim. The smell of them went up to heaven. V'nei malachi Elokim, and the angels that it talks about on the ladder. He says, Eila Kohanim. These are the Kohanim who are doing this service in the Beis Hamikdash. And he said, Olim v'yordim bo. It says, just as they're going up and down, it says, Kashem, Shehem Olim v'yordim b'kevesh. They're going up and down on this ramp. V'nei Hashem nitzav alav, and Hashem is standing at the top of it. What does that mean? Reisi as Hashem nitzav ala mizbeach. You would see, I saw Hashem standing on the altar. And that's from a pasuk in the prophet Amos. So Rabbanan Patrin Le B'Sinai, the Rabbanan have a different interpretation. And they refer to the whole thing with the Sulam as referring to Sinai, to Har Sinai, when we received the Torah. So how do they do that? It says, Vayachlom V'hinei Sulam Zeh Sinai. It says he dreamt and there was a ladder, a Sulam. That means Sinai, Har Sinai. Why? Because the Sulam, the letters Sulam, Samach Lamed Mem, B'Gematria Sinai, have the numerical value of Sinai. It says Matzav Arza, the standing on the ground. He says this refers to when before the Torah was given. It says V'yisyatzvu b'tachti sahar, the Jewish people stood underneath the mountain before Hashem gave us the Aseret Dibros. V'roshu Magia Shemaima, and in our pasuk here, the head of the ladder going up to heaven, he says it refers to V'hahar bo'er bo'esh ad lev Hashemayim. The mountain was burning with fire until the heart of heaven. V'hinei malachi Elokim olim yordim bo, and it says the angels were coming up and down in the ladder. What did the Rabbanim say? They said it refers to Eila Moshe and Aaron. That's Moshe and Aaron who were going up and down. V'hinei Hashem nitzav alon, it says when Hashem is standing upon it, Vayer Hashem ar Sinai al Rosh Hahar, and then when the Torah was given, it says Hashem came down on Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain. So, Shtei Mashmot Divrei Medrash Yeshon. We have two different interpretations from the Medrash that we just said. Deili le'el minei Isa Shamba Medrash al Pasuk V'yivka Elohim. So we have to understand what the wording of the pasuk before that says, where it says Vayivka b'makom. He stopped at that place. Yaakov stopped at that place. And he says, Netivot Shalom says, Bikesh la'avor, v'nasa olam kulo kamin kosel lefanav. He wanted to make the whole world like a wall that was standing before him, a wall to keep from getting involved in the worldly things and having only to do with the holy things. Why is this? As he says, Ki hinei Yaakov Avinu b'chol shenosav. Yaakov, our forefather, during all of his years, ad seisu l'charon, until he went into Charon, hoya b'beis Yitzchak, he was in the house of Yitzchak, v'etzel Ever, and he spent time studying in the yeshiva of Ever. Uv'osam hashanim, and in these years, hoya kodesh kodashim k'malachim usrafim. He was holy of holies, just like the angels and the fiery angels. Command Omer Kedushenu Kadosh Yaakov says, make us holy like the holiness of Yaakov. Joyu Mufrash Lechultin Ve'iskel Mazeh. He separated himself completely from anything having to do with this world. But his Kadesh B'Kedusha Ilah, and he made himself holy with a higher holiness. Kedisa B'Chazal, and Chazal teaches, the sages say, Shebechol Pei Dalet Shenosav, all 84 years of his life, Ad Shenasa Isha, until he married a woman, Lo Haya Ba Shum Pagam. He had nothing wrong with him. He hadn't, he hadn't fallen away from the sphere of being constantly doing mitzvahs and being holy to Hashem. He was perfect. That's what our sages also say. Al pasuk Vayishka b'makom ahu shachav, where it says Vayishka b'makom, he slept in that place. That was part of our introduction here. He slept in the place that he landed up. Why is the Torah telling us he slept there? Because it says b'makom ahu shachav, in this place he lay down to rest. Avokal Yudal Chanim Shayad Nitman Bebeis Ever, but all the 14 years that he was hidden, so to speak, in the yeshiva of Ever, Lo Shachav Lishan, he didn't lay down to go to sleep. V'isek Rak B'Torah B'Avoda B'Kedusha Yetera. He dealt only with Torah, with the service of Hashem, in a higher level of kedusha, of purity, of holiness. Viata, and now, but say so me Beersheba, when he's leaving Beersheba, Harana to Haran, Achre Avoda Kazu, after this kind of work that he's been doing, the service of God, but kedusha Kazu, and the holiness that he achieved from it, Allah Lahashpilas Malom Hazeh, he now has to put all that behind him and deal with this world. Live not bayis, to build a house. Ulaholid banim, to bear children. Ulasok b'parnasa, and worry about making a living, about sustaining his family. L'kach nemad lefanav, kol olam kulo b'kotel. Therefore, all the world stood before him like a wall. Hainu shekol metzios olam hazeh nizdekra lefanav, kakotel she'ein la'avor ba'ado. All of the worldly things were like an obstacle that he couldn't go beyond. Eich nichnasim el olam hazeh. How does one come into this world? She'ad ko haya perush mimenu. In a situation where up until now you've separated yourself from all of this. The worldly things in this world had no connection to him. And not only that, was he no longer able to not separate himself from the world, he was on a trip to go to the house of the wicked Lavan. So how's he going to do this? So on this, we learn a lesson from heaven. The sulam is planted in the earth, and the head of it's going to heaven. Laharot lo shetachlis ratzon Hashem hish Yehudi yamod b'inyane holam hazeh. He says the message from this is that the whole purpose of the will of Hashem is that a Jew should work and do the things, the worldly things in this world, deal with the materiality, uvetoch zeh, but in the midst of this, yimtza derech eich liot kodesh Hashem. While the Jew is doing all of the worldly things, taking care of everything he does, in the midst of that, he has to recognize that there is a way in this to become holy to Hashem, because Hashem wants us to work, not to just to sit back and get a free lunch, so to speak. So, but that's interesting. His comment here that a Jew has to take those experiences of the world and bring them to a service of Hashem. And we've said many times before what the Netivot Shalom has said, asking how a human being, flesh and blood, can make himself holy to Hashem. And he says many, many times over, we've studied it a lot of times, Kadesh atzmacha, make yourself holy with what? Mashamutu lecha, with that which is permitted to you. In other words, take, today's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Today's the day where a lot of people are eating turkey, right? Turkey's great. Take that turkey, and instead of just being a glutton eating the turkey, raise that turkey up to a level of serving Hashem. When you're watching football today, it's a great American sport, watching football and eating turkey on Thanksgiving. You're watching football. That too can be raised to a level of serving Hashem. How? Just think about the energy that comes out of these football stadiums and the number of people that are so energized and so excited about a ball being played by a number of people in shirts. Think about that, and think about how you could harness just a little bit of that energy to serve Hashem. So those are ways to serve Hashem, to find the Kedusha in everything. And he says, V'hinei sulam matzav arza rosh mageh shemaim. This is the sulam standing on the ground, the top of it going into heaven. Kedisa b'Toras Avos, as it says in Toras Avos, Jinyan sulam, the aspect of the sulam is Mora al Kavios Ha'avoda Shayahu. Right, the tape stopped, so I'm going to just pick up where we left off, where he says, and Netivot Shalom says, the intent of this is to show that, it's Kavios further down, to teach the constancy of the service of Hashem in this world, b'inyane olam hazeh, with material things. And then he goes on to say, Shehudi yimtza tami b'toch misgeres shel kedusha. The Jew is found always within the framework of holiness, b'toch hasulam, in the midst of the sulam. And if you look at a sulam, you have the two sides going up vertically, and then the slats horizontally. The two slides are a framework for going up. It's a misgeret. So that misgeret is a misgeret of kedusha. It's a framework of holiness. So it's like everything you do should be within that framework. Shiala dargo b'tzar dargo ad v'roshim ageshmaim. You go up every step of the ladder, every rung of the ladder. You keep going, climbing and climbing, until you reach the heavens. It says ach gam b'yiridoso. Even and also when you're going down, yearly shire b'toch gevul hakadusha. Even though you're not meeting your own expectations and you're falling short of what you think you should be doing to achieve holiness, and you think that you're falling in this ladder, nonetheless, you need to stay in this ladder. Shelo yipol achutza, mina miskeret shel kedusha. So you shouldn't fall outside the framework of kedusha. And I like to say that you look at a ladder. If you have a high ladder, somebody may be on a rung above you, somebody may be on a rung below you. You can't tell by looking at them who's going up and who's coming down. The key is that you have to try your best to try moving up. And if you start falling down, it's okay. We all fall down. So you fall down and try to stay within that miscarriage, even if you're in a lower rung of kedusha than you hope to be, and then work your way back up again. That's what it says. The angels of Hashem are going up and coming down. Kol al yosehem, v'yudesehem heim b'sulam gufo. All of their going up and coming down was within the boundaries, the misgeret of the sulam. Klomer b'toch misgeret hakadusha, meaning in the misgeret and the framework of holiness. Einam yotzei mechutz misgeret hakadusha, and they never went out of the framework of holiness. This is the way that things should be done in this world. That you shouldn't go out of the framework of holiness that surrounds you. You shouldn't let the worldly things take you out of your misgeret of holiness, of being surrounded with holiness, umashpilim also the yota takton, and cast you to the lower worlds. Barak hayideshi ose liatzmo sulam, but only by making yourself a ladder. Shemisnayer me'artziot v'nichnas lemokam hakadosh l'misgeres kedusha, where you're. He says to remove yourself from the worldly things, and then bring yourself to a place that's in the misgeret of kedusha. But I think more important, and the real message for us, is not to remove yourself from the worldly things, but don't let it overtake you. The worldly things that you do should be within the framework of kedusha. That everything you do should be for the purpose of serving Hashem. The one question you should ask if you're in doubt about whether I should do something or not, what would Hashem think? What would Hashem want me to do? What would my mother think? What would my father think? Right? Go through that little analysis and see, is this really what you want to do? Sometimes that can help you to keep from straying from where you don't want to go. Also, Gam kol nyane olam hazeh likare laHashem yisborach. And he says no, Oz yavio. So then you should bring with you all of the things of this world to get them closer to Hashem. Like romim adei v'roshi mageh Hashem, to raise up these things of this world until their head goes up to the heaven. Bad ki heini Hashem nitzav alav, until you actually get to the place where you can see Hashem standing on this framework of kedusha that you're striving to go through. And now he's explaining the midrash that we said before with Bar Kapora. Sula matzav arza is a mizbeach hakeves. The mizbeach romez al inyan ha'avodah shel Yehudi b'olamo. Excuse me. The altar, it gives us a hint at what the service of a Jew should be in this world. Shemizbeach hi makum ha'avodah she'olav shovchim dam lifnei Hashem yisborach. The altar was a place of service to Hashem, where blood was spilled before Hashem, the blood of the sacrifices. Mazel misgeres fasulam. That's the misgeret, the framework, and the ladder. Avoda b'higiyat tzricha lios misgeres hakadusha asher himeno lo yotzim. The reference to the blood on the mizbeach in terms of being with the misgeret can talk about. Blood is a reference to emotions. You know, when your emotions run high, you get red in the face sometimes, you get embarrassed, you get angry. So take that blood, the warm blood that's within you, your emotions, and use it to serve Hashem, the mizgeret of Hashem, and not to leave that mizgeret. Excuse me. Avodah shel hakeves ma'mizbeach tilaso imotzav arza, and the whole service of the ramp and the mizbeach starts from the ground. Shematchil madrega katana, because it begins at a lower level. You know, nobody's on a high level when they begin. You begin at a low level. Lalo Telekeba said, you're starting to walk up this ramp. Excuse me. You're starting to walk up this ramp. Machakach. And once you've already walked up the ramp, then you're starting. Then Mosiv, Baholech. Then you walk and you continue walking, going up. Umisala, Dargo, Dargo. You go up level by level. Advaroshi V'Geshemayim, until you reach the point where your head of the ladder, the head of what you're doing, you can see that yourself raising in a level of holiness. V'adhini Hashem nitzav alav, so that you can then see Hashem is standing before you. Risi es Hashem nitzav al mizbeach, you see Hashem standing on the altar. V'nei malachia olim, malachia lakim olim b'yordim bo. The angels are going up and down. Shekol haliyot vayiridot hein b'tochem mispkeret shalavoda v'niyos v'mera. All of their going up, all of their going out, going down, are within that same framework. Now, you have a lot of latitude within the framework of holiness, within the miskeret of the sulam. As you're making yourself a sulam, the key is not to go out of that. Do whatever you're doing within the framework of Kedusha, means envelop everything with a level of holiness. V'satzir hazeh, and this picture, haro b'chalom, that he saw in the dream, eich sheyehudi nimtza gam b'inyani olam hazeh b'toch miskeret avoda. This picture then represented to him what a Jew, how a Jew should live with the worldly things and stay within the level of Kedusha. Shaz yochol hu la'asok b'chol inyani olam hazeh, because he would then be able to deal with all worldly things, u'likariv ayadam lelokut, and through them, because they're in this miskeret of Kedusha, he would bring these worldly things to a level of being closer to Hashem, to a level of holiness themselves. Rabbanan Amar Sulam Zeh Sinai. The Rabbanan say that this is Har Sinai. Sinai hu koach haTorah shenasa Kadosh Baruch Hu Yehudi. Sinai is the power of the Torah that Hashem gave to the Jew. Shebemtzot efshar li'karev Hashem Yisborach gam ba'osko b'inyani olam hazeh. That through Torah you are able to come close to Hashem, even doing worldly things. Kamo Shomer Chazal, as Chazal say, Kivin Amdu Yisrael Ahar Sinai, Paskazu Mason. When Bnei Yisrael were standing ready to receive the Torah Har Sinai, they lost their identity. Hainu Shemiyad Kasher Nichnesu Latoch Peskeres Hakadusha So Sinai Paskazu Mason. They became a different person. They were no longer the person that they were. V'zeh inyan asula mutzav arza of Gomer. Shetchilas ha'avoda shel Torah hi v'yisyatzu b'tachti Torah. The beginning of Torah is you stood underneath the mountain. B'madrega hakatana shebasulam, the lower level of the sulam. V'achkach, and after that, holech u'mitalim madrega l'madrega, you go up from step to step, level to level, ad v'har boher ba'esh, until you get to the point where the mountain is burning with fire, ad lev hashemayim, until the heart of heaven, ad v'hine Hashem nitzav alav, and where it says Hashem is standing on it. The kosav v'yer Hashem al Har Sinai, and it says Hashem went down on Har Sinai, Mount Sinai. B'ainu shenirmas b'zeh, what is hinted at this is koach haTorah, the power of the Torah. K'she'asher Yehudi achos b'toch hamizker shel Torah, if a Jew is working within the framework of Torah, harei yochol la'asok b'chol inyan ha'olam hazeh, he's able to do all of the all of the aspects of this world. And also, they bring him to recognition that Hashem is really standing over you. So it goes on, but I'm going to summarize at this point. Basically, it's giving us a lesson in derech hachayim, in the way of life of a Jew. The way of life of a Jew is to recognize that we're all starting at a low level, but it doesn't mean we have to stay there. We have the ability to climb higher and higher and higher, to go one rung after another. And the key, as he's saying, is to stay within the miskeret of the sulam. Make yourself a sulam, stay within the sulam, so that everything you do ultimately has a level of holiness with it, and that you're raising everything you do, the mundane things of this world, to serving Hashem. And this is what Yaakov dreamt, and he understood this to mean that, contrary to what he was thinking before, that, how can I serve Hashem if I have to go work the ground, if I have to go raise a family and get parnasa and so on. And he understands by that yes, he can still serve Hashem, can still be holy, but he takes with him all of the worldly things and raises them up to a high level. And that's the key, and that's what we have to try to do in this world. Kadesh atzmacha b'ma shemutar lecha, make yourself holy with that which is permitted, and have a great Shabbos.